the national lead NFL writer of Bleacher Report, Mike Freeman. Right? You're a data guy. Right, Mike?
Well, it's data. And I got a couple things to say to you, Rich. First of all, my first point, you're running a 4.58.
When?
When you run, baby. You're running a 4.58. What are you talking about when?
I need you on the stopwatch instead of Mayock.
Let's go. Handheld, 4.58.
Thank you.
Second of all,
yes, sir.
The most disrespectful move of all time, was it Jordan or Scottie Pippen who dunked on Ewing? Whoever that was, it dunked on Ewing.
Pippen. It was Pippen, but Jordan. I mean, the Harden move last night reminded me of Jordan on Brian Russell back in the day.
That's a good one. But when you dunk on someone and then you step over them, like that's just really disrespectful.
Yeah, I guess we didn't even include Allen Iverson on Ty Lue. I guess we didn't include that. Speaking of stepping over somebody, that's big. You know, well, we included, I guess, hurdling people. So let me start with you here, because you've been writing about this quite a bit lately. What is going on with the Cowboys and Des Bryant? There's a there, and I don't know what the there is going to actually wind up being over there. What can you tell me?
I have to be completely honest. I don't know exactly, and I don't know if the Cowboys know. It's there's definitely something there, as you said. I don't know if I would call it tension. I don't know what it is, but there's the Cowboys aren't as excited about bringing him back, and what I wrote recently was my point was more that he still has something left, even though there's a lot of people in the league who don't think he does. Like, I'm in the minority. There's a lot of people in the league who think he's completely lost it. He's lost a step. He's a second guy. He's not. I think you underestimate him at your own peril, and maybe the Cowboys are doing that. I think the Cowboys are in a position where they love him. They would want him back, but at the right price. What price do you bring him back? And that's sort of where they're at now. And it could go either way. I mean, it could easily get done, or it could part ways. Dez is going to end up somewhere on some team next year. But there's a whole thought process, Richard, throughout the league about where exactly he is. And most people I talk to don't think he's that guy anymore. But I still think he can be. So that's where kind of things are with that right now.
Well, the problem is that you say at what price? His price is the one that he's under contract for. That's the way it sounds like he's going to approach this thing. And the question is when the rubber meets the road, which is the moment the Joneses really put a number on the table saying this is what it will take for you to stay here, Dez, that and how he takes that is the conundrum here. When it all comes down to it.
Yeah, you said it exactly right. And where do you go? If you're the Cowboys, I think they feel really good about, and they should, about their team, about how they draft now, about that part of their game, which to me, like 5 years ago, free agency draft, they weren't that great at it. I think now they're really good at it. And they have the quarterback they want. They think they can get that defense where it is, and they think they can be good with Dez or without Dez. And that's a big part of this equation is that they feel like they can move on, reach a Super Bowl because they got Dak, and they have Zeke, and they have these guys that can step up and do good things. So that's kind of their mindset. And Dez's mindset is, I'm still Des Bryant. I'm still great. With me or not with me, but I'm still great. And that's where you hit it perfectly about where this is going to fall in. When the Cowboys say, we're going here, and Dez says we go here, do they work it out? It's still possible they work it out.
Mike Freeman of Bleacher Report joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So what happened with Marcus Peters in Kansas City? Best you can tell. I think
they just sort of got tired of one another, which is weird for a guy who's as young as he is. I think he's 24. He got into a couple of beefs with one of the assistant coaches. He had the outburst where he tossed the flag into the stands or kicked it into the stands. And I think there was just a sort of mutual decision to part ways. I think, Rich, I don't know how you feel. To me, he is a complete, total baller. I mean, he is one of the best. He's a top 5 physical athlete in this league, a top 3 to 5 corner. He takes risks. He's got some maturing to do. But when I was 24, I had maturing to do. I have maturing to do now. So there's everyone has maturing to do. But I think the Rams got a total steal with him, and a defense that was already really good is now just going to be even better. So I think it was just a sort of a mutual parting of the ways, and both teams are just going to move on.
Well, I want to ask you about the hush-hush rumor about this. Is that essentially Clark Hunt did not like that Marcus Peters did anything during a national anthem this year, and it just doesn't matter how much maturing needs to be done. He's out. Is there any truth to that?
I haven't. I've heard that same rumor. I can't get anyone to say that that's accurate. It would not shock me. You and I have talked about the anthem before and the protests before, and how players feel about it and how we feel about it. It was a huge factor for a lot of teams, and it wouldn't shock me if that was the case there. I mean, it was a factor for a lot of owners, for a lot of teams. I'll go back to what I said before. I don't know why. It's peaceful protest. They're doing what you're allowed to do, what you should do, to me, but there were a lot of people who didn't like it. So I haven't necessarily heard any confirmation of that, but I've heard it. But it wouldn't shock me. It was such a polarizing issue, unnecessarily so to me, but it was in the league, and it was everywhere. So it wouldn't stun me, but they definitely, to me, let him go considering his talent and how good he is on the cheap, to me. So it would not shock me if there was some accuracy to that, but I just haven't heard it.
And what's going on with Colin Kaepernick's suit against the NFL? What's the status on that? And is there any chance that Kaepernick should somehow, some way, the political environment change? Does he want to play in the NFL still? Do you think
he still want? Yeah, I think Richie still wants to play. Definitely. My contention has been for a long time now that he won't play in the NFL again, and I don't think he will. I think he wants to, and his case against the league it's just turning along. It's just going, and it's been very quiet. There have been very few leaks, and I think it's because they just, especially from Colin's side, they just want to make sure that they just present their best case and just do that. But he wants to play again, but I don't think he will, Rich. I think his playing days in the NFL are done, pretty much no matter what happens with this case, which is unfortunate because he's still a really, really fantastic player. And I think the NFL overall needs guys like him. He's an exemplary person. So the league can always use good people like that on the field who are also excellent and ambassadors off the field. As polarizing as he is to some people, all he has done is give his life to people, underprivileged people, people of color all over the country. He's raised millions in charity. He is the example of what you want in an NFL player, but I don't think the league is going to let him play. That's just been my feeling for a long time.
Mike, I always appreciate the time, appreciate the call, and more importantly, my gosh, appreciate you think I'm going sub-5. Whatever you're having, I'll have too. Okay?
459, baby.
Okay. Sounds good. You take care of yourself, Mike.
All right, man. See you.
You bet. Thank you. That's Mike Freeman.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.